So welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time and everybody is talking about AI in design. So how does it work? Most of it's hype, but Claude plus Figma is something actually that you can do with it. And Claude just releases that it can integrate with Figma, and it's just amazing. And Claude also released that it can connect with 50 other apps like Adobe, and which is very helpful when you want to do something smallest of repetitive tasks. You can use Claude Co-work. So now the thing is, I'm going to answer some of the questions that how to connect Figma to Claude, because when I was doing that, it was very confusing. I'm going to tell you that how it's going to work and how it's going to impact your workflow. So first thing first, let's start with the account setup. When you open Claude and you go to customize, and you see two things: skills, connectors, and plugins. Basically, what our skills is, skills helps Claude understand the processes and how to utilize that specific instructions and use specific things in a specific way in a process, and understands what you want to do it specifically. For example, if you want your designs to be compliant by WCAG 2.1 guidelines, then you tell that in the skills, and skills are provided by Anthropic, by Figma, and you can create your own skills for your own instructions. But right now we're not talking about that. Now connectors are basically is just connecting you and integrating your Claude Co-work with other applications like Figma or Gmail, or do something. Plugins are the pre-made skills that is provided by the those apps. For example, Figma provides their own plugin of a set of skills that you use for change or make designs in Figma through Claude Co-work. And there are then projects. Projects are simply good for memory. Like if you want to create something specific to, for example, if I create YouTube videos and I create a new project, and in that project I create multiple chats, it would remember whatever I use or ask it to use that information, and it would remember, because in that context window it would help your in terms of chatting or doing something. So it's just I'm trying to simplify things. So projects and skills are two different things. What you need to do is first connect Figma through connector, and I've already connected Figma. It's just simple, disconnected. I would not disconnect because I'm working right now. You just have to connect or configure, and it's just very simple step. You just click on the configure, and it would just give you the link, send you to the new tab, and you just confirm you want to connect with it. But the problem is when you are using multiple emails or multiple Figma accounts, that's where the problem is, and I found a very big problem. When I was using it, I have two personal accounts for Figma and one workspace account for Figma. Now I have connected my Figma with personal account, and when I ask Claude Co-work to edit in my workspace account, not my personal account, and edit something in my workspace Figma account file, and it did read all the variables and things like that, and it wasted my credits. I'll tell you why. Because obviously it can read but it cannot write. Claude does not have the access, but that the link I sent, it has a viewable link. So the problem with that is just I was connecting with the wrong account. But I thought maybe I would switch account to the Figma to the workspace account, and it would change the account in the Claude, but it doesn't work like that. So what you need to do is, if you're using multiple email, so if you are not using it, you just skip this part. But if you are using multiple accounts in Figma, then what you need to do is, whenever you're connecting your Figma to the Claude, you have to make sure that you are connecting it right way. It's just as simple as that, but you just have to be careful with that. Or I should show you. Let's disconnect. Now it's working. So let's go to the Claude, customize, and connectors. Now Figma is still connected. That was not doing because of now again. Let's see. I'm connecting it. What does this ask? Now you see this, but now you're logged in at this account. Now you can switch accounts, or you want to use the same account. So allow access. So it's just simple as that. So what I would recommend you is to use the same email if you're using one account. Now, when you connect it to Figma, you just don't jump into Co-work and start asking Claude to do it. What you need is the plugin that is provided by Figma, and you just go browse plugins and find which one is the Figma, and you just connect it to that, and you just install those plugins, and it will all the skills that require to use Figma, write Figma, read Figma, everything is going to be in it. And then there is design skill that is going to be, you can find it in plugins. It's very easy, and it helps you, user UX writing, accessibility, order, research synthesis, things like that, to create pixel perfect specs for, and it helps you in dev handoffs. So it's very clever to use these in your workflow, but don't just rely on this. Use your brain as well, because that's the most important part. Now your Claude have access. Your Claude has access to Figma. It has the skills to design those, read those files, to those variables, styles, and things like that. Now, the most important part of this video is to use your credits smartly. For example, Opus 4.7 Claude is consuming a lot of credits, and if you try to use it, it would just eat your credit like 3 times faster than other models. So I would recommend you to start from Sonnet 4.6. It doesn't eat that much, and try experimenting with that. So whenever you create something, you create, for example, if I create a new something, so I would first select model from here in the Co-work, and that's very important. And for your information, Claude Co-work and Claude Code does not work with the free plan. It works with the Pro or Max or Enterprise accounts. So be specific to you what you want. Give the link of the file, not just the file, but the frame. What do I mean by that is you just, let me open the Figma. Okay, for example, this is your frame that you want to work on, or this is a section. When I wanted to design something, I would select frame and press Command L or Control L on Windows, or you just right click on it and find copy link to the selection. Okay, so here's, you just copy this. For example, if you create a button, you just press Command L or Control L, it will just copy the link to that button and give it to the Claude. Okay, so for example, I copy it and I paste it over here. So now what I want Claude is to use this frame to design inside it, in it. I don't know, I'm just using, all right, and give it a reference, all right, and then give it like whatever I want to use it through. Like for example, if I want to use some specific color styles, tell that you use this color style, for example, blue gradient, or some text style, whatever the name it was, whatever the name it has, and give exact font and exact font type, and the width of the font, bold, semi-bold, medium, whatever it is, and each and everything tell that to the Claude, and then ask to work on it and give the reference. Like for example, if you want to design some a specific way, ask the Claude to design it according to the reference, and this is the file, this is the variables, this is the design components, even give the design system if you have, and try to ask Claude to find this specific element from the design system. Not just give the design system, but ask the Claude to use these specific colors for specific things. Now, what you don't do with the Claude is don't ask to create the whole thing. Create small chunks, like for example, buttons, components, tabs. If you're building a landing page, ask sections, navigations, a content box, sliders. So it works on a specific reference, and will not give you a general UI, because every time you ask Claude to do the whole page or things like that, even if you give all of the information, it would do a generic design, because you are not being specific. Give smaller chunks to the Claude to design, and then make it or combine it in Figma, or ask Claude to combine it on Figma. And what I would like you to understand, even if you're giving the link, but the best way is to remove everything from the link, just keep the node ID inside it. So it would much easier for Claude even to go and find out that specific frame that you are talking about. It would save a lot of credits, you guys. I have learned this in a hard way, but you don't have to. You just have to use specific prompts, smartly use your credits. So it's good at picking colors, textiles, maybe design system components, give exact what you are looking for. Design to code conversion is just amazing. Use AI for that stuff. Don't use it for creativity. Creativity is in your head. You cannot create cultural differences with Claude. You cannot create things that with human touch with it that you see with your eyes. You cannot create with that, and that's absurdly impossible for with AI to do that. You can ask AI to create similar items and give the screenshots that you want something similar, but it would not create by its own. Claude would not understand clients' preferences. That's human thing to understand. For example, clients say, I like clean design. Claude doesn't know what clean design is until you tell him what it is. For some clients, clean is different. For some clients, clean is different. For some clients, clean means just minimal UI, no colors, just black and white thing. So for some, use colors, follow some of the things, but keep it clean, keep the patterns, keep things inside and make it more personal. Clean has very subjective meanings. Only you understand it and you try to convey to the Claude. Also, don't ask Claude to create stuff on its own. Okay, so as I told you before, don't ask it to create brand colors. If you wanted to create brand guideline, it would create, but ask specific prompts that you want to create. You want these sections on this brand guideline, you want this and that, and it would create it for you. And I'll explain everything in the next video, that how it's working and how good it is. This video is more about how to set up your Claude and what things to avoid to save credits. In the next video, we're going to talk about how does it look and how to use it in a real workflow, how to get yourself an as free assistant as a design partner that will help you in making design workflows much more easier. Let Claude do the legwork and you do the creative tasks. Make your brain occupied on those things, not on those things that is not your priority. In the next video, I will show you that how it look, how to process, and how to work with AI, or specifically Claude Co-work, to integrate it into your system and how to bring clarity. And we will learn that in that video that what skills we can use to achieve goals what we want to. These are the basic design and Figma skills that today I told you, but in the next video I'll tell you amazing skills that will help Claude design in a much smarter way, using less credits. So see you in the next one. All right, bye.